I am, guys, for the first 35 years of my life or so, I was incredibly prejudiced towards a lot of people. I did not have empathy for other human beings that were not just like me. It was taught to me. I was brought up around it. I feel terrible about it, and I've been doing everything I can since I really truly became aware of how awful I was to turn it around and be a better human being. So I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you guys understanding.
Hi lovelies, how are you all doing today? My name is Olivia. In case you're just coming across my video for the first time, you're welcome. Thank you for stopping by, okay? So guys, today's episode we're going to talk about racism, of course. And some white folks have actually come out to admit that, oh yes, I was once a racist, but you know, I'm trying to stop that. Okay, so admitting that you are a racist is a bolder step. Like, I appreciate you for coming out to say, oh, I'm a racist and I want to stop it. And then you're putting actions towards it. You're not just saying it just for saying sake, right? And then when I see white folks telling other white folks that, hey, everybody is one, okay? Regardless of your color, the race, everybody's one. Like everybody needs to be treated equally. Okay. I feel happy because that is what the society needs. Okay, that is what the society needs. So in this episode today, we're going to see a lot of white folks, talking about racism. And I would like to know your thoughts in the comment section. Right? Is a bold step for them to come out and say, oh, I was once a racist and I've stopped and then I've accept that everybody is one. It is a bold step. So let me know what you think about this video in the comment section, of course. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and of course support the channel by subscribing to the channel. So let's keep watching together, guys.
Why I Stopped Being a Racist, Part 1. I've been asked probably well over 1,000 times in the comments and messages why I chose to confront my own racism and my prejudice ideology. So I thought I'd just have an honest conversation with you and break it down over a few parts and let you see into the mind of someone like me, the way I grew up, and the man I'm becoming. Now here's the crazy thing. I've only ever known one racist in my life for sure, and that's me, because I can't speak into the hearts and minds of another human being and what they think and feel. That's not fair, that's prejudicial of me. So I'm the only one I've ever known, so I feel I can speak with authority about this. I'm not calling out other people who are, this is simply about my evolution and the things I confronted and some of the difficulties and some of the beautiful parts of this. This is not an easy thing for me to do. This is kind of laying my soul bare. So if you would, let me know if this is something you want me to continue in the comments, please, because it's going to take a lot for me to invest emotionally to be open about this. Now, why is it I grew up with so much prejudice and bias and discrimination in my life? Well, I grew up in a small town in Arkansas, and I am Arkansas proud. Let me just say that right off the top. But I grew up with people who taught me these things, and it was instilled in me. I mean, it was just reinforced over and over. And then for the most part, I lived in an echo chamber of other people who thought the same thing. So I didn't know it was possible to think any other way. I was raised Christian. I cannot explain to you why my faith in God, my morality, and my racism took so long to cross paths. I can't explain it, but it probably took about 40 years to figure that out. There's a whole series of events in my life, I guess, ultimately that led up to this. And prison was probably one of the biggest catalysts, because when you're on 23-1 lockdown with someone of a different color from you in the same cell, you shut your mouth and you listen. You ask questions. And I had so many different cellmates from different countries, from different races and heritages. And it just really opened my mind. And sitting in prison, I had a lot of time to think. And I had some old timers tell me, I need to do my time. Don't let my time do me. And those are good words of advice. But I started digging deep into myself and my flaws, and because I was probably the biggest asshole I knew at that time, and I wasn't proud of that at all. And I knew I needed to change if I wanted to live a productive and healthy life and just be somebody likable. I just couldn't see the world for the way it really was. And that breaks my heart that it took me so long to see it. But the beauty that is born from this change, Amir, this growth is just crazy. God is amazing. So if you want me to continue this, let me know and I'll do a part 2.
Why is it that white folks support anti-blackness, racism, and white supremacist culture in so many goddamn fucking ways? Why is it that we support it through our silence, our defensiveness, our denial, that code of silence? Let's not talk about it. Let's ignore it. All that fucking gymnastics, that defensiveness, the fucking anger, the passive aggressiveness, the stereotyping, the overt, covert racist, all the shit that we do, the gaslighting, all that fucking shit that we do as white people. Why can't we just leave black people the fuck alone? Why? Because we were taught that shit. It's our culture. White supremacist culture is American culture. It's European culture. We see ourselves as overseers. We ourselves as entitled to control and judge black people. White Americans wanted, back in the day, we demanded black people be segregated, right? So we segregated. Black people said, okay, great, we're going to make our own shit. They started doing great. What did we do? We fucking burned their communities down to the ground. And you're going to sit in your fucking silence? You ought to be ashamed of yourself for not giving a fuck. Every single one of you that can't talk about it, that spews fucking racist narratives, stereotypes, denial, gaslight. That's not their reality. Telling black people what the fuck they should think, feel, do, be. Fuck you. Do better. Reject your fucking training, your indoctrination. Question your own goddamn morality racially for once in your fucking life. I'm tired. I'm tired of what my people have done, what they continue to do. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm tired of seeing people suffer. I'm tired of the fucking inequality. And you ought to give a fuck too.
As a white man, I want to tell all the other white men to slow down with your racism, because we're still not done teaching our kids about what y'all did in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. We're still busy teaching our kids about that, so I need y'all to chill a little bit, because we're still trying to catch up with your bullshit. While we're on it, this whole male loneliness epidemic, it's because nobody likes y'all. Nobody wants to be around y'all. Your goal is to SA people, to steal their money, to exploit them, and then you want to cry because nobody wants to be your friend, please. And if these types of people are your heroes, you should be lonely. That is teaching you to change. Go to a protest. That's another way to get into a history book. We don't have to always be effing up everything for the world. I think we've done enough. I think white men have done enough.
I know I don't understand your experience.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I have never had to live it.
Come on now.
I can sympathize, and I can recognize when things are wrong.
We're sisters and brothers here. Talk.
For instance, if a black man or woman should never be afraid for their life, for getting pulled over for speeding.
Come on now. Come on.
But I have never lived in that fear.
Come on now. Come on.
No black man or woman should ever be reluctant to walk outside for fear of racial profiling.
Tell it, sister, tell it.
But I have never been racially profiled.
That's right.
Come on now.
No black man or woman should ever expect to go to jail in their lifetime because of the color of their skin.
Come on now.
But I have never lived in that expectancy.
That's good.
And this is why I don't believe in the phrase, I don't see color.
That's right.
One, to say you don't see color is a lie.
Come on now.
We're different. We can all see that. But two, and way more importantly, to deny the differences in our skin is to deny the differences in our privilege. I'm going to say that again because I think it's worth repeating. To deny the differences in our skin is to deny the differences in our privilege. And that leads me to my next point. To deny the differences in our color is to promote ignorance. Ignorance is the reason that systemic racism and oppression is allowed to exist in this country.
That's good.
So why am I here? Why am I up here speaking?
Come on, tell them, sister.
I'm going to talk on about 3 things. One of those is change, the other is ignorance, and one is discomfort. I'll get there.
Go ahead. Take your time.
Broadly speaking, why am I here? Because I want change. But let me speak on that for a second. Because I think a lot of people want change. I think a lot of people say they want change, but let me clarify. I think a lot of white people think they want change. But here's the thing about that. In order for there to be a true and genuine change, for you, for the black community, for people of color, there has to be an equal and requited amount of change for white privilege.
Yes, right.
And that is something that white people don't want to think about. They don't want to admit that. White people don't want to acknowledge the head start we have in life just for being born this color. You know what? That is willful ignorance.
Put it on front line.
Willful ignorance is what allows oppression to continue in this country.
Together we stand. That's it.
So I'm going to talk on ignorance for a second. I think one of the biggest things that allows ignorance to continue is our education system.
There it is, baby.
Yes, ma'am. Our education system.
Yes, ma'am.
And what I mean by that is our education is a white man's education.
It is.
It is a white man's history.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell it.
Why does that matter? Again, like I said, I can recognize when something is wrong. And that is wrong. Why? Because when you tell that history, the history that excludes black history and black culture and the black experience, you allow white people to think that nothing is wrong. And when that happens, you allow white people to think, well, it was bad back then, but it's not bad now. Hell no.
That's right.
It's bad now. In fact, some might say it's worse because this is systemic oppression.
That's right.
This is institutional oppression. This is oppression that is not overt, but it is just as powerful, and we are able to hide it.
God Almighty. That's it.
And I have more to say. If you want to hear all of it, please come out Saturday.
We'll be there.
Thank you. We appreciate it. But no, the reason I'm here is because I stand by you. I support you. I love each and every one of you out here. We are brothers and sisters to the day we die. And this is not my time to have my voice heard, but I will use my voice for you. I promise.
I'm a racist in recovery. If you haven't seen me before, hi, my name's Janelyn. I have been talking about how I was born and raised in the Deep South, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, raised to be a racist, and how I've been dismantling that for the last 15 years. If you like this content, give me a follow. If you have any comments or questions, please put it in the comments. I will respond to it. If you have any particular topics that you want me to talk about, leave those in the comments. Let's talk about white privilege. I think a lot of white people don't want to accept this concept. I get it. I get why. Like, I'm thinking, I don't have white privilege. I haven't had anything handed to me. I've worked for everything I have. I have worked my ass off, and life has not been easy. I've been through a lot of shit. I get that. But what white privilege is not, it's not having your life handed to you on a silver platter. It doesn't mean you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. It doesn't mean that you haven't worked really hard. It doesn't mean that you haven't experienced loss or failure. It doesn't mean that you haven't had significant obstacles to overcome. It simply means that the color of your skin did not add to those struggles. And I think this goes hand in hand with recognizing and admitting that we have systemic racism.
Let me tell you something, bro. Nothing is more aggravating and irritating. Dear white people, nothing is more aggravating and keeps up this whole trope that we are victims in 2025 and beyond as of the recording of this video than to see you guys up here always talking about stuff that is not relevant to anything that is going on right here, right now. She's talking about, well, the color of your skin didn't add to your struggles. What does that have to do with anything or the price of tea in China? All y'all doing, if y'all don't already know, is you're continuously keeping this whole narrative up that has black people thinking that they are struggling more than anybody else, which basically sets them at a disadvantage because they go into everything as a victim Olympian and thinking that the whole world is against them instead of doing what it is that they need to do in order to be successful. You're basically giving people an excuse as to why they can be substandard or why they feel like they didn't get a job or why they feel like they didn't get the opportunity that they wanted. And so instead of people excelling and becoming successful and being more and
Sometimes in my comments, people say, if I just stopped talking about racism, it would go away. If only. But that's not how any of this works. Look, if silence fixed racism, we'd be living in a post-racial paradise right now. The reason so many of us, especially white folks, don't know how to deal with racism is because we don't talk about it. We don't know how to talk about it. We don't do it in schools, not in church, not at dinner parties, not even at our home dinner tables with our kids. What we did learn was how to change the subject, how to flinch when someone brought it up, how to get real uncomfortable real fast, and then blame that discomfort on the person who brought it up. But racism doesn't disappear just because you pretend it's impolite to mention it. It thrives in silence. It festers when it's ignored. Talking about it is not the problem. Talking about it is the first step toward understanding it and undoing it. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So nope, I'm not going to stop talking about it. And if that makes you squirm a little, maybe you need to sit with that a little bit and figure out what that's trying to tell you. One share or comment or save shows that you care about setting the record straight and that you don't want to just sweep it under the rug. Follow me for more truth telling, and if you're so motivated, please consider supporting my work at coffee.com/Kelly Snyder. Get curious.
To my white brothers and sisters, I'm not politically correct. I tell it like it is. When I hear someone say go back to your country, it's always from a white person directed at a black or brown person. But that makes no sense because our ancestors weren't from here, and we stole this land, and we're still colonizing it. And when I hear black and indigenous and people of color talk about reparations, I hear a white person in the background yelling reverse racism. But that makes no sense because white people have never been and are not being oppressed based on their race. So white people, I have a question. Why are you so afraid of losing your position in society? Why are you so afraid of losing the comfort that white supremacy has given you? Why are you so afraid of actual equality? Learn up.
What does racism look like to a racist? And let's be clear, I've been very open about the fact I grew up as a card-carrying racist and thought that way for a good chunk of my life. No, it's not something I'm proud of at all. But with all these new definitions in this day and age, it gets really confusing. I mean, I was a racist, so I'm a former racist, but then I said I'm not a racist, but that's not, what kind of racist am I? I thought I was a covert racist. And by reading the definition, I found out I was an overt racist. But what really put it together for me and kind of quantified and defined what I'm doing is Ibram X. Kendi. I read his book, and it took me a while to understand and grasp the anti-racist definition.
But now I understand it. It's a very complex deal. And I agree when he said it's not enough to not be racist. That doesn't really signify anything. And I agree that when it comes to the divide in the soul of being a racist or an anti-racist, you are one or the other. You are working towards being anti-racist, or you were just devolving back into being trash. There's really no in between. So for me, growing up, I was always taught people of color, especially Black Americans, were just simply inferior to me or to white people. And I think in a weird way that provides some sort of odd shield to protect one's ego and pride, because I think you can look down at somebody else and go, well, I'm better than them, or I have it better than them, or whatever it may be, that stereotype or bias or bigotry that you want to put on that. And if this is hard to hear, I really do apologize. I just think people who look like me need to talk more about what it was like and how we thought or how we treated people, so that other people can understand the thought process we came from and where we're trying to go to be better. And maybe this is just one small step in a way to combat racism. But these are my thoughts and experiences. People want to use the word hate a lot, and I didn't feel hate towards people. I felt superiority. I felt arrogance. I felt pride in my skin color, which is a really odd thing when you think about it if you're white. It is just odd. I feel like an idiot now. But I lived in an echo chamber where all these thoughts and ideologies were repeated. It was just conditioning, repetitive conditioning over and over and over, that reinforcement. And it's so insidious, and it's all around you. It's hard to even understand that there's a different way to think. Again, there's no magic switch you flip off from going from racist to anti-racist. It's an evolution, it's a journey, and it's a long one. And when people say once a racist, always a racist, to be honest with you, I think there's a little bit of truth to that, because subconscious bias is something I'll fight for the rest of my life. The difference is now I'm aware of it. I can catch myself and start training myself to not do that, which is a big challenge. And other people say a leopard can't change its spots. And you know what? They're exactly right. It's a good thing I'm not a leopard. I'm a human being with a fully functioning precortex, so I can actually evolve in my thought processes, in my heart, and in my soul. I guess we're lucky that way. Have a great day.
You know, a white person said something to me the other day that shocked me. Not really, but it kind of did, coming from this individual, because they were actually being honest. Usually all they do is gaslight and bullshit, but they actually had a breakdown and had an honest moment. When we were talking about race in America, she said, I don't think black people deserve equality and justice because they could never get enough. And I realized, for the first time I've ever talked to this person about race, she was actually being brutally honest. And I also realized this is the psyche of white America. Not all, but for the majority. Most of white America have always been scared of black and brown folks getting justice, getting equality, getting what's fair, because they want to hold and cling on to white supremacy so dearly, that system that protects their privilege, that dominant hierarchy position of whiteness. That being said, I'm going to say something, and I want you to let it set. I just want you to sit with it. Let it settle into your consciousness. Just let it set with you for a while before you get into your feelings, into your denial, into your ignorance, into your delusion racially. Just let it set and listen. Until we fix white supremacy, everything we do as a nation will fail. Why does America keep voting against its own self-interest? Why do we continue to do things that undermine our very well-being? White supremacy is the living, festering cancer, devouring our nation from the inside out. It's the toxic force behind every backward policy. The exact reason we're so stunned and shamefully far behind other developed nations. White supremacy, the very thing white America claims to despise, yet simultaneously denies, gaslights about, actively avoids, and utterly ignores, all while perpetrating racism. The reason this country keeps voting against its own damn self-interest, the reason we consistently shoot ourselves in the foot, is brutally simple. Pure terrified fear of a black and brown nation. Fact. This isn't new. This isn't just about today. This is history's cruelest loop. We love white supremacy. We embrace slavery. We clung to Jim Crow. We have always chosen to poison our own wells rather than allow an ounce of equality. This obsession breeds internal hate, forces us into a blind, ignorant delusion. It has weaponized us against each other. White against white, race against race, culture against culture. This is the profound damage to your psyche, your society. We'd rather bleed our own nation dry, sacrifice our cities, our health, our economy, our global credibility, than loosen one pathetic finger from white privilege. You thought you could weaponize white supremacy to justify your own greed, to hoard power. All you've done is destroy yourselves and your own fucking nation. Imagine a nation so diseased by racism, so desperate to cling to its twisted sense of white superiority. It would rather self-destruct, rip apart its own democracy and watch its citizens suffer and die. That nation is America. Face the ugly fucking truth. Look at what we've done. Cutting Medicaid, slashing SNAP, sacrificing the vulnerable for billionaire tax breaks, abandoning humanitarian aid, annihilating our global standing, our very morality, actively suppressing votes, tearing down our democracy, building the world's largest prison system, shattering families, all because of the white man's greatest, most pathetic fear, that black and brown people might actually be treated fairly. Our air is poisoned, our infrastructure is collapsing, our schools are failing, all because we'd rather cling to archaic, racist structures that build a decent, functional society for ourselves. Understand this, we aren't just hurting black and brown communities. No, we are actively killing ourselves as a nation. Our racism has so corrupted us, we'd choose a pedophile felon to run the country simply because he was a racist strongman. We are willingly plunging into fascism, sacrificing our fundamental liberties and economic equality, all because we choose white supremacy over freedom. Every damn bit of it for the sake of the ignorant, hateful disease festering in our hearts. So white America, hear this. Stop being cowards. Look into the fucking mirror. This cancer of white supremacy is consuming us. If you don't tear it down, if you don't confront this fear, you will watch this nation die. Your nation, our nation. The time for denial is over. The time to choose is now. I'll say it again. Until we fix white supremacy, everything we do as a nation will fail. Fact.